I spent 60 hours editing this film. And for what? No brand deal, no client, just me, the camera, and the most iconic city in the world. So this is the story behind the story. Recently I dropped my London cinematic film, over 2,000 clips to choose from, 60 plus hours of editing, and easily one of the most personal projects I ever made. Today I want to take you behind the edit, the structure, the style, the technical stuff, and the moments that nearly broke me. Let's figure it out together. When I moved to London over 4 months ago, I already knew that I'm gonna be filming in the city like 24/7. And that literally almost what it was. I was out in the central London every single day, shooting clips, shooting content for my Instagram, for my TikTok, mainly for short form platforms. However, in like a couple of months while doing it, I realized, damn, I have so many clips, I have so many great horizontal shots that I can't even show on Instagram that much because of the attention span. People don't want to see a single shot that's lasting like 3 to 5 seconds because no one has attention span these days, especially on the social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok. Everything needs to be quick, engaging, ever so changing. There's no more appreciation for longer form content. And obviously the film is like 3-4 minutes long, so it's not like it's a long form. However, you're not gonna get away with it on Instagram or TikTok. That's how this idea was born. I had so many clips that were ready to be used and put up into one longer video. However, the problem was that they were all over the place. The clips were from one day to another, weather's changing, there was no structure, there was no storyline. So I sat down and started going through the clips. And it was obvious straight away. I can't be looking at the clips and trying to merge something together without having a storyline. So what I did next was making a quick script, just something that will give a structure to the video. That's where the voiceover came from. So I recorded the voiceover. The next step was to find music, and that really is one of the hardest parts for me. Finding the music that's gonna resonate with the viewers and with yourself, and translating the feeling through the melody. Now there is so much music to choose from, of course. In this final edit, there were 3 songs combined together. I found 3 songs. One of them had a perfect beginning, the second one had the perfect energetic middle part, and then the third one had an amazing ending. Well, at this point, I had the voiceover done, I had the music selected, and I had 1,000 plus clips to choose from. I started going through the clips, looking what works the best, and I quickly realized I have so many clips, but most of them just don't work. So I shot another 1,000 plus clips. However, I already knew the music, I already knew the voiceover, I already had the vision where I'm going with the clips I was shooting. My recommendation to anyone who needs one, find the music, find the storyline, get everything before you start shooting your first clip. And that's the basics of videography. We all know that that's how it should go. I thought maybe I had a way around because I had so many clips shot already, but in real honesty, from the 1,000 clips that I began with, I didn't use more than 50 probably. Everything else was shot after I already knew the storyline, I already knew the music, and the voiceover was already done. Okay, so the filming was done. I sat down next to this beast and I probably spent 24 hours just trying to figure out the raw cut. I've done it and I deleted it. Then I've done it again and I deleted half of it. And that probably happened 3 to 4 times. I believe that I was 48 hours in when I finally was happy with the raw cut. And I was like, yes, okay, we can now build from here. So I had a very fast-paced opener with all the hyperlapses, speed ramps. The idea behind it was simple. You need to hook the viewers in the first 3 to 4 seconds. So that's how I opened the video, and the first words that I said was, every filmmaker sees the world differently, which is completely true. We all see it uniquely to us, and that's what's beautiful about us filmmakers, that we can all take the same moment and make it our own. And then the slow pace part began. And this slow part was where most of my pre-recorded clips went to. This part is talking about the paces, about the living in London, how fastly everything changes. It's very generic. I already captured that. I didn't need to reshoot, you know, to match the voiceover, because I mostly had everything. I had fast paces, people walking, I had lights at night, because what I said in voiceover was absolute true. That's what London is about. I basically matched the clips to voiceover. I'll be honest with you, being a foreigner and hearing your accent fucking sucks. I dislike my accent, so I think that every single person that's watching dislikes my accent too. So I had to make sure that the voiceovering part was done as good as possible. And yeah, you can definitely tell that I'm a foreigner and that English isn't my first language. However, I try to articulate the voiceover and narrate every sentence that I said as best as I can. That's my recommendation to others. If you are worried how your voice sounds or maybe how your accent sounds when you're shooting and you want to do the voiceovers, try to narrate them as best as you can. Try to catch the rhythm while you're recording. Make people forget that English isn't your first language and compensate that with a very good narrating, with a very good structure and overall good rhythm. And after the first voiceover, the main edit began. That's where the fast pace kicked in. A lot of clips went into this minute. And the main idea for this part of the edit was to match it, sync it to the beat as much as possible. That's where you can see that the cuts are very repetitive. Even if the cuts were very repetitive, what I did to separate everything was I made sections of edits. And that was in my head mainly. So you might not even feel it while you're watching it. But if you watch it closely, you will notice that the edit begins with girls being in Chinatown. Then you can see my girlfriend being in the underground and she moves us to a different location because what the underground means, travel. So you subconsciously knew that we were moving to a new location when you saw the underground train shots. So after the underground, we move into a very sketchy area with loads of graffiti, little of light, which kind of resonates and works very well with the underground. So we see some graffitis on the wall. We can even see the artist painting something in real life. And then we move to some building shots. Now this whole 1 minute edit is broken down into small little parts that moves you throughout the city, throughout the feelings and throughout the journey that I was taking while shooting this video. So as you can see, we start with the Chinatown, we go into underground, we spawn into a different location, then we see some high-rise buildings. We move into the showing the monumental locations like Tower Bridge, Big Ben, so we know that we're in a city. Every single clip was put there on purpose. So even though the cutting on the beat was repetitive, I broke down this whole 1 minute edit into small edits that allowed you to flow throughout the whole minute and not get bored, even though the cutting was always the same. And that is the beauty of filmmaking, that you can control where people look and what people focus on. So yeah, there wasn't many transitions or complex editing. I just decided that in this film I will rely on the shots, on the iconic city that is London, and less on editing. I wanted this film to depend not on the edit, but on the visuals and on the city. So I let London to do the job, and I was just looking from the sidelines. And of course, you have to slow down the pace at some point. That's why I chose to do another voiceover for the under of this video. So we transitioned to a third song now, and we slowed everything down. So I thought that the time lapse of the sun setting down and hiding behind the buildings was the perfect opening shot for the last sequence, if that makes any sense. And this shot is the longest shot in the whole video. It's over 6 seconds long, I believe, but because there is a voiceover and there is a meaning of the shot, it doesn't feel that long, does it? Quick fun story about this shot was that I shot it on a gimbal, standing. It wasn't stable at all. I made it stable in After Effects, but I didn't have a tripod. I was walking around the city and I was like, oh damn, the sun is setting. It's almost hidden, but not yet. I have around 6 minutes until the sun completely hides under the horizon. So I just stood there holding the gimbal and trying not to move. It didn't work out. I was moving quite a bit, to be honest, and the gimbal was flowing. I don't know what happened, but thank God for After Effects and us editors managing to save the shittiest clip clips and make something happen out of them. I knew that the end there is gonna be where least of attention span was held, and most of the people probably turned off the video by now. So I thought those who stayed, they are interested. I had to put a little bit of myself into that part so people kind of get familiar. Who's doing the video? Who is that filmmaker? Who is the Elvis creative? My lovely girlfriend, she always shoots BTS with the phone. So because of it being an iPhone lower quality video, I decided I will choose the VHS style that hides the quality. And yeah, I just basically blended in the iPhone footage of myself into the edit for people to know who is the guy who filmed this whole thing. So yeah, that's how the raw cut happened. And it took me around 48 hours to make this into a seamless sequence that you saw as an end product. This is the part what nearly broke me. The raw cut, the very beginning of the edit nearly broke me. Because I redid it so many times. However, I'm really happy with the end project. After the raw cut, what I did next was color grading. I wanted to see the video in the final colors that it's gonna be. So I did use my own LUTs, and the main LUT that was used in this video was Urban Blue. That was for the daytime shots, and then 80s Metro Glow was for the nighttime shots. I created these LUTs, so don't give me shit about using LUTs on my own videos. These are my color combinations, so shut the fuck up. And if you want the LUTs, you can purchase them at elviscreative.com. They're on discount, by the way. So I had the final look of the colors and how I wanted all the clips to look. That's where the special effects, the visual effects happened, the overlays and all that good stuff. I did all that, and at the very end, I went for the sound design. Do we go nuts? And do we rely on the sound design, or we rely on the visuals? And I decided that I will try my luck with visuals. So the sound design is pretty simple for this video, I would say so. Mainly I used surrounding sounds, some specific sounds of some actions that needed to be highlighted. I definitely could have put double the sound effects that we have now, but I really thought that the visuals will do the job good enough that we only need that little bit of sound design, which is just gonna complete the project and make the video flourish and make it what it is, basically. If you ask me today, how should I make my first cinematic film? I would tell you, get the story together, make sure you know what you want to showcase in the video, write some kind of a storyline. If you're gonna use voiceovers, record the voiceovers, find the music, put them together, and then go and shoot. Because then you will know what you need. You'll know what type of clips you want to see in the videos. It's extremely hard to make something happen from having thousands of clips and trying to put everything together. It's 100% possible, and you probably are much better editor than I am if you can do that. But from cinematography point of view, that's when you can control the most of the storyline. And that's where just easiest, because you think that you can make something from nothing, and you can, but you can make something from already knowing what you want to do. It's going to be much better than when you do something from nothing. I hope me waffling didn't bore you too much here, and I hope that I covered everything that you want to know about this video, and I hope I'll give you some kind of a guidance how you should go around making your own cinematic videos. I also want to tell you that you should definitely do it. Every single filmmaker should make their own cinematic passion projects, because passion projects are things that refuels your creativity. Because passion projects are not controlled by anyone. They're completely your videos that you want to make, that you want to produce, and that you want to edit. And that is the representation of how you see the world and what do you think the filmmaking is. So I think every single one of you should do passion projects, and I think we should do more of them. I think we do them very often and very rarely because they don't pay your bills. However, you never know what can happen when you upload one of these videos. I can guarantee you that from passion projects you will fall in love with filmmaking again and again. That's what refuels me, that's what gives me motivation to work more, and that's what gives me the direction that I need. I want to make passion projects but get paid for doing them. Let your creativity take you wherever it's gonna take you and create some magic. It's been your boy Elvis Creative. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, please don't be shy, DM me on Instagram, drop a comment here, like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share this video to your friends, share some of your passion projects with me, and I will see you next week, Wednesday, 5 p.m. Peace.